So in this video, I want to talk about defensive formations and schemes in College Football 26. Now, we're not going to show any gameplay in this video, but I am going to break down on cfb.fan, which is a website that showcases all the playbooks, what I kind of think will be the meta going forward and what I think is going to be good and what you might want to avoid as well. So one thing to know about defensive playbooks in this game is when it comes to offense, every team has its own individual playbook. When it comes to defense, every team actually gets tied back into one of these 9. So in Ultimate Team, you might rock the Alabama defensive playbook, but it's going to be one of these, okay? And specifically, the Alabama defensive playbook is the 4-2-5 defensive playbook. So just keep that in mind. There's only 9 different defensive playbooks. Now, we have all of these pulled up here. And actually, a fun fact for you is that every single one of these playbooks has some sort of dime that's going to be dime rush or dime normal, which are very similar. You see, all of these so far have had dime rush. This one's going to have dime rush again. Dime rush again, dime rush again, dime rush, dime normal this time. That's right. 4-3 multiple is dime normal. And we have dime rush again. So pretty much all of them have dime rush, and dime normal is slightly different, but very, very similar. So just keep that in mind. It's always good to see what all of these playbooks will have in common. Along with that, all of them will have double mug, some variant of it. We're going to see load. We're going to see 3-3 double mug. We're going to see where's the 3-3 double mug again? Another 3-3 double mug. Another 2-4 double mug. They all have double mug. Okay, they all have double mug. So it's just they're little different variations of double mug, but all very similar. The reason I say that is that those are really good starting points on defense for the sake if you play Road to College Football Playoff, or if you're somebody who you just want to learn a base defense. Now, I will advise against something that I've seen in my experience of playing College Football 26 and even last year, is that a lot of dime sets, especially things that only have 3 down defensive linemen. Something like if we were to go here to 3-2-6 and we went to 3-2-6 mug, or especially if we went to 3-2-6 odd, where this is a very popular pass defense, very meta in the pro scene. In college football, I actually think this style of defense is really tough to run on any sort of non-passing downs, like 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 5, something like that. The run game is just too good for a lot of these basic 3 down lineman sets. Okay, so it's tough. It's very, very tough to run these types of sets in the game. They just do a great job of, or they do a really bad job against the run, and the run game just does a really good job against it, especially like shotgun runs. Like they really do a great job between inside zones, between duos, stuff like that. Like it just, they just do a great job against these style of defenses. So I don't foresee them being very meta. What I actually think will be meta from an early on standpoint are these 3-3-5 sets and these nickel sets, okay? These offer a lot of flexibility. I'm interested in the 3 high odd. If you don't know what that is, essentially you're gonna have 3 high safeties as opposed to typically 2. Right here, you see this middle guy. If we click on this, he is the high safety. Then you have 2 outside thirds, essentially giving you 3 safeties. I think those are cool. This runs into the same issue though, only having 3 down defensive linemen, but you do have 3 linebackers to help with that. So there is a little bit more flexibility in the run defense game. I do think like you really have to focus in on stopping the run and making people pass. A lot of people are going to try running the ball, especially early on in the year. You're going to find a lot of people who are just more inclined to be running the ball, and you don't want to have a chance. So with that being said, I really like things like nickel or 4-2-5, which is found in the 4-2-5 defensive playbook. That'd be things like 4-2-5 over G, 4-2-5 under, for example. Okay. Anything with like, I actually think 4 down lineman sets are like very good in this game right now, just from my playing. Sheds are decent. You're able to stunt from them, which I do think some sort of version of a stunt is going to be very, very good. Along with just having more meat is going to pause. Is going to make people have to just pass the ball, or it's going to force people to pass the ball. You want to stop the run game, make them dedicate to passing the ball, so then you could check into some of these heavier sets or lighter sets like dime, like 3-2-6. Now, something I do think that is possibly good is going to be out of the 4-3 multiple defense. Something like 4-3 even 6-1. Now, what will be good here though is a cover 0 shell. There's no baseline in this game. You could do a baseline glitch, which if you know, you know. I won't talk too much about it here. Maybe we start doing it. But these are really susceptible to auto motion plays, which College Football 26 got a lot more of. There's a lot of auto motion stuff in that game, especially a lot of auto motion wheels. If we look at a playbook like this right here, if we go to Oregon State, which, little spoiler alert, Oregon State is most likely going to be our day 1 scheme on Civil.gg. and we look at Y off trio close, yeah, like a play like this just kills a lot of the very compressed style defenses. 4-3 even 6-1. For it to be a good defense, you're gonna have those outside backers very far in, or off the line of, or off the tackles, allowing you to blitz. If you do that though, you get outflanked to the sidelines very easily. This game has a bunch of stuff that attacks the sidelines with wheel routes, RPOs, whatever it might be. There's just a lot of ways to get out there, and so it makes a lot of things like this actually pretty hard. Defense in this game, I do think there'll be something. I don't know what it's going to be entirely yet. Outside of, I think nickel is a really good place to start. I don't love nickel for the fact that it's an unsymmetrical defense. So, if you have your slot corner to the right, or to the left right here, and they flip their formation to the right, you have to flip with them. But it does seem necessary. Another thing I don't think will be great day one is straight cover zero. We did see a lot of this last year. I just don't think it's as good this year. I don't think something like mid blitz can be as good day one. I could be wrong because mid blitz is always solid. It just didn't seem to me to be crazy. With that being said, I do think double mug will be solid. You'll actually see me running some double mug. There's not a ton of mid blitz, rather trying to run double mug in more of an overload fashion from a zone look. There is going to be that. Keep in mind, we're able to do different safety depth stuff, right? Right, our safety alignment stuff. So I do think that stuff will be cool. Something like 55 Mint, which is known for being a really good looping defense. As of my experience with the game, I did not find any kind of loops that were crazy good. With that being said, it always comes down to, like, it just takes one, right? And so much of defense, it so consistently just takes one, right? One stunt, one disengage, one loop, one, free rusher, whatever that might be. And it changes defense a ton. So that is something that you just have to keep in mind whenever we talk about defense in general in this game. A formation I do find interesting here is 3-4 odd. Is You have some similar issues with 3-4 odd that you find in 4-3-6-1, where it's a very compressed defense and it gives up a lot of sideline stuff. With that being said, though, I am interested in it because it gives a little bit more flexibility, in my opinion. You have four stand-up linebackers, right? Linebacker, 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 linebacker. Whereas in 4-3-6-1, you only have three, so it's a little bit less flexibility. I do think there's something to be said for, like, this could be solid from a cover zero look, and not this play necessarily. I'm just looking at 3-4 odd as a whole. It's just I don't love running a lot of cover zero style stuff because you have to make a lot of adjustments from it. It's not very practical to run unless you're somebody who plays the game a ton, which I like. I play the game a ton. Fact of the matter is, a lot of people watch me just don't play the game nearly as much, and so me doing something that other people can't replicate is just kind of a waste of everybody's time because just dumb. Um, but with that being said, like, I do think 3-4 odd is something that could potentially be good. Mixing in something like this from a cover zero look, right, and then going to even like an all-out blitz from cover zero where it can just be so fast, and then mixing up whether you're sending 6 people, sending 5 people, whatever that might be. Offense just got a huge buff in the pass blocking game with the untarget defender feature. That's genuinely one of the better features I've seen added into the game. And so just from that, it's like, man, there's going to be blitzes are just going to be different, right? A lot of overload style blitzes, just you can't overload the same way because you just untarget that defender. Now, you could argue, okay, but then he can come free with the user rush. Yes. With that being said, it isn't super practical from a defensive standpoint. You can, but it's just not the most practical thing ever. And so that's kind of my overall, just high, like, very surface level, high level, what I'm thinking on defense right now. My day one playbook, I don't even know if I know day one playbook, I'd say. I would say my day one defense, though, is going to be some sort of four down lineman dime and then double mug. So something like this, or maybe a 4-2-5 defense. Going something like double mug from this, and then also running some over G. I personally think could be pretty good. I'm kind of an advocate for that, but kind of depends how things play out a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited though. I think defense, it's different. They added a lot of stuff. They changed the game quite a bit this year.